Hey there, I'm Kirk French. I'm an associate teaching professor at Penn State University. And as an archaeologist, most of my research has always dealt with the interplay between humans and their environment, mainly as it relates to water. Given the almost daily bombardment of news regarding climate change, we are all keenly aware of the enormous role humans have played in altering the environment. But you know, that kind of change, it's incremental, it's slow. So much so, we don't even recognize it day to day. But we've all had that experience, that moment of seeing an old photo of a landscape or a town that we grew up in 50 years ago. Seeing those drastic changes all at once can be quite a shock. Well, the project we're working on is in that vein. In 1961, Penn State University archaeologist William T. Sanders filmed a documentary titled Land and Water, an ecological study of the Teotihuacán Valley of Mexico. The film, it captured the daily lives of the people of the valley, the farming techniques, pulque production, and even the washing of clothes at one of the many perennial springs. And even though that area is home to one of the world's most iconic early civilizations, the archaeological site of Teotihuacan with its monumental pyramids, it's never mentioned. Not once. Its complete absence was purposeful, because this was about the community. It was about the hardworking and creative people of the Teotihuacán Valley. Land and Water Revisited aims to provide a rare glimpse of the changes that have taken place in a particular location. And thanks to the detailed notes left behind by the cinematographer and editor of the original film, William G. Mather III, we were able to re-record or revisit many of these identical shots. This juxtaposition has allowed us to essentially measure the changes through film. Oh, and I'm not doing this alone. Our production team runs like a well-oiled machine. My previous student and now partner in crime, Elijah Hermit, is a young but experienced videographer and editor that has been indispensable to me as a crew member over the last 6 years. Several of his recent videos became semi-finalists for the coveted Adobe Award. He has a preternatural eye for catching the right shot at the right time. Neil Hutchinson. He has filmed, produced, and edited 16 documentaries over the last 30 years. With 2 Emmys under his belt, he's providing the experience that's vastly improving the quality of this project. We even have music being written and performed by Chris Ratty and Blue Mountain's Carrie Hudson. Then last summer, Diego Hernandez joined the team to assist with interviews. Then there's also our Mexican collaborators, Perla Martinez and Alonso Rodriguez, who have bent over backwards helping us produce this film. And lastly, there's the people of the Teotihuacán Valley. They have been more supportive of this project than I could put into words. Essentially, they're treating us like family. Now, because the original film was 1, in English, and 2, used almost exclusively in anthropology classes, it had never been presented to the people of the valley. So the first thing we did was we had the film's narration translated into Spanish. And secondly, we held several public viewings in different communities through the area. The reaction was powerful and often emotional. But these events, they provided an opportunity to connect with family members of those that were featured in the original film. The families we made contact with, like those of Aniceto Martinez and Andres Reyes, were incredibly gracious with their time and participated in several interviews. Those interviews, along with many other community members, gave us great insight into the changes that have taken place over the last 60 years. We have also conducted interviews with scholars to try to better understand the role humans have played in altering the environment, both past and present. And a look at what researchers are doing today to find answers to these complex questions as they relate to sustainability. Now, with funding from many institutions across the Penn State campus, we have made 3 trips to Mexico, and as of February, I'm happy to report that principal photography is complete. But we have a long and costly 8 months to go before the premiere in San Juan, Teotihuacan. Land and Water Revisited will have both Spanish and English versions, and all proceeds, if any, will go to the William T. Sanders Scholarship that supports graduate and undergraduate research in Mesoamerica. And the last thing I want to say is that Land and Water Revisited is not simply a film about the changes over the last 60 years in the Teotihuacán Valley of Mexico. This film could have been made anywhere. It could have been made in a million different communities throughout the world. The problems caused by unregulated urban growth are being played out in many of our own communities. The end product will be about change, about adaptation, and what we can learn from the people of the Teotihuacán Valley. I hope you will consider donating to the Land and Water Revisited project to help us tell this important story. Thanks for your time.